All right. Hey everybody, my name's Danny Bevins. This is the new 5Q interview. I think this is number 8. This is my good friend, my guest, Aleq Bey.
What up, what up?
And what's going on, man?
Not much, dude. Not much. Grinding, working. Just got off set, so that's fun. Have to be a working actor, you know.
Yes.
I can say that now.
I'm gonna say this for Aleq. He just had a guest star on an HBO series. I don't think we can say which series it is, but that's super cool.
Yeah.
And as an actor, you know, obviously that's the goal. Like every time is to try to get those juicy, you know, the good spots. Can you tell us anything about it? Can you tell us about the experience, like getting on set, what it felt like?
Yeah,
you know?
sure, man. I can't really tell you about it because I'll be honest, like they were pretty stingy with the details. Even being on set, it was a lot of listening.
Okay.
I did 2 takes for the audition, and usually, like rule of thumb, you know, you get hired off your audition, you do whatever take you sent. But
right.
I sent 2 takes, and so I didn't know which one to do.
Oh, okay.
I was like, well, because it leaned both ways, it could be either or. So I figured I'd just go on set and listen to the direction. Great director. She did a great job. I just got out of my head, man. I was like, I got out of my own way.
That's it. That's like the first rule of acting, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's just to get out of your own way.
It always is, you know. There is a level of trust that I just have to give her. If it's what she wants, she'll take it. If it's not, then she won't take it. And so I went back, and at that time she came out with a smile. So I was like,
That's pretty, a good sign.
Yeah, man. I was like, yes, come out with a smile. She came out with a smile. And I don't know, and it was all good, but I mean, it was definitely a learning experience. I think anytime you get on set, it's going to be a learning experience because all directors are different, all sets. It was almost like they had the sculpture and they were just like, you know, chipping away at it, you know. And so they tell you something was good, and when you do the next take, you're expected to do everything that's good and then change what they say is bad. And so when you do the next take, you keep everything the same. You just change what. Yeah. Again, her idea and vision was pretty specific, and she knew what she wanted. So I gave her exactly. I mean, every take was exactly the same unless she said, hey, do this differently, and then I would do that differently, but everything else would be the same, you know?
Where do you find that kind of focus? Like, to do that and to do it for continuity's sake, you know, obviously you're doing it all day for however many lines. Where do you find that, like, focus for yourself? Or you're like, oh, I'm going to meditate, or are you into, you know, what kind of practices do you use?
Honestly, I think, yeah, man. I mean, I feel like everybody meditates, even if it's not just sitting there and closing their eyes. I mean, you being inside your head, I feel is in a way meditation, you know?
Yeah.
For me, I do everything before I get on set. That's where my meditation is. That's where I completely get lost, get drunk, get inebriated off these lines. So when I get on set, I can just leave them alone, and whatever they ask for me, I can weave in and out of it, you know.
It seems like you take acting from a analytical kind of standpoint.
Absolutely.
Do you think that's okay?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Which, I mean, it helps sometimes, but sometimes it doesn't. You know, it's a lot harder to get out of your head when you're analytical.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure you know. But in the same time,
I know this guy knows what I'm saying.
yeah. We're friends for a reason.
That's right.
My thing is, when I went on set, I realized just how technical it is. It's all so technical, and you can be creative all you want, but when you get on some sets, like, it requires technique. It requires you to, you know, not always bring a different perspective, but keep in that perspective, even if you don't necessarily understand, you know, what's being asked of you. You kind of still have to, again, I don't know, keep that perspective. And so I feel like as long as you listen, there's nowhere for you to go. I try to be on the same page, feed off her energy. I was watching her, and when I saw that she was happy about something, it's like, okay, I'm gonna keep doing the same thing, you know. I don't know.
It's definitely an energy awareness.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's hard because sometimes I think like people can have really good awareness in one situation and something can, you know, throw you off the next situation, but it's just a matter of us being so in tune with everything that we're just we're there, and we're open, we're available,
Yeah.
and we're listening. Exactly. That's
And
exactly
asking questions,
Mm.
you know. But again, I mean, you understand it's a bigger picture. I didn't go in there to impress anybody. I went in there to play a part,
Yeah.
you know, and everybody's parts collaborate and they work. And so, mistake if you go on there thinking that the part's about you. 9 chance out of 10, it's probably not. So
That's-
know your place.
It kind of like takes some stress off your shoulders too.
You know what? Yeah,
Because in
absolutely.
the audition room, you know, it's just you, and you have to be on, and you have to like be charismatic and do all
Yeah.
the things, and that's great because generally as actors we are that and we're used to it.
Yeah.
But you know, you have to bring that on set for those 50 takes, and hopefully
Yeah.
you get it. But dude, I think that's really exciting, man. Guest star, HBO, like.
Yeah.
I'm so happy for you.
Yeah,
He
I
filmed it
appre-
today.
I
He came
appreciate
over
that,
and
man.
we're recording this
Appreciate
after that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was,
Alec and I
shot.
met. I probably should have said this in the beginning. We met by doing AMAW's acting class,
Yep.
which I had to drop after one class, so we only had one scene together.
I'm not bitter.
But it was
bitter.
it was pretty hilarious. I was like, hey, bye.
We did one scene together.
But all my best to the AMAW people.
Yeah.
Caitlin Chesnut. So you approach scene work, you approach acting from an analytical standpoint. What gives you the most imagery in your mind? Because that's part of the creative aspect I enjoy, is almost the imagery and the visualization of what you're seeing from paper to action.
Yeah.
But from an analytical standpoint, how do you do it? Do you go through scene by scene? You're like, how is this informing me? Do you write out verbs? Like,
Honestly, no, man. I mean, I think at this point, I have everybody's method is completely different.
Yeah.
I think I have mine down to a science. I like reading it. I read it over and over and over again. To every script, there's an undertone. It's a given. It has
Yeah.
to be. And when I first get a script, that's what I'm looking for, the undertone. Okay, what's really going on here? I don't really worry about my character or the individual character or the character in the group. I just worry about the scene and what the undertone is of the scene. And then once I figure that out, then I focus on my character. One of my struggles is probably jumping into a character, and I fight with adding myself, because I feel like when you add yourself to a character, you don't act. And that takes the fun out of acting for me. You're gonna be one of those people who has these characters, and your characters are more like yourself because you're putting so much of you in them. And so again, that's my struggle. Not that I do it, but I don't want to do it. And so because I don't want to do it, I don't think I put enough of myself or the verb relating in that character. But once I understand who the character is as a whole, then I can step into that character and see how I want to approach it.
Yeah, I do think there's also opportunity to kind of know your archetypes and to know the kind of people you portray. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
when it comes down to TV and film, it's just like, well, we're fitting a box a little bit.
True.
You know what I mean?
True.
On that, if I may, we've spoken off camera privately about what it's like to be a person of color and an actor of color, and like, I'm curious.
Yeah.
I'm curious, as a black man, I'm not asking for the experience of being a black actor, but your experience.
Yeah.
You want to talk? Will you talk a little bit about that and kind of like,
Yeah, man.
or you're like, oh, I'm always going in for these kind of roles, because
True.
I can tell you that happens to me from my experience. Like, I'm always
Yeah.
going in for a certain type, and it's interesting. And,
Yeah,
you know what I
yeah.
mean?
Well, number one, all black people don't look the same. We look different.
I've heard that.
Somebody said that to me a couple of days ago. Like, oh, white people don't look the same. It's like, whoa, now, easy, dude. You can't flip. Yeah. I feel like when it comes to blacks, I'm fortunate, because when I first started off, and I was in, I started off in Virginia, I got thug. That's all I got. Thug, 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 thug. Thug, 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 thug. And it was annoying. It's like, come on, man, there has to be something else besides thug.
Yeah.
Once I got to Atlanta, which is just multicultural
HBO?
across the board, I felt like things changed. It wasn't so much the roles that I was getting were like color specific, because they weren't, some were African male, but some were any ethnicity. I think I had to deal with other black guys, you know, because obviously you hear the way I talk. I'm pretty proper, you know. I have a street side where I can talk slang, but for the most part, I'm proper. Whereas a lot of guys in Atlanta, they have that. There's an accent that they have.
The southern twang.
Yeah. So whenever I actually get like the tough guys, I tend to not book them because I'm not thug enough, or I'm not, you know, me being proper kind of overshadows, you know, that. But
that comes down to the writing too, man.
And that's true.
You know what I'm
True,
saying?
yeah.
And I think that's where we break the wheel of filling in those archetypes constantly.
Yeah.
If you are brown, like as a Native American, like bro, I just started getting Native American auditions.
Yeah.
I've always been auditioning for Hispanic roles.
Yep.
Always. And in New York, it was very much like, oh, if you're not Caucasian, you don't audition for these parts.
True.
And I had never experienced that because as a diverse, ethnically ambiguous person.
Yeah, bro. And I was about to say, you're good with that.
You know what I mean? You kind of fit
I'd
into
rather
different
be
types and
ethnically
roles.
ambiguous.
And but my experience in New York was that it was a little more cut and dry.
Yeah.
In Atlanta though, because like you said, it's so multicultural.
Yeah.
Dude, it's amazing being on set and seeing so many different people of color.
Yeah, like I went on set today and it was like female director, female AD. It was like females.
Yeah.
Which was cool. It was like, yeah, I'm all for the empowerment, you know, because it ran a lot smoother. Not saying that, you know, guy directors, you know, don't, but it was a very comforting or comfortable setting.
So that's why I have to ask, because the Atlanta experience is specific.
Yeah, and it is, and thankfully I don't have to deal with a lot of like racial things when it comes to, you know, acting like, oh, you're gonna be the thug. I've been the lead, I've been the underling, you know.
Yeah.
But I like being able to be either one. You know, people look at me and it's not just that's a thug or that's this. I mean, the sky's the limit. You know?
I'd want to see you audition for that because I'd want to see you like how does Aleq transform that?
Dude, you know, and somebody told me that. You know, I took a class when I got down here with Gregory Allen, and then he actually said, he's like, be a thug. He's like, you talk proper, let me see your thug. And so I actually had to do it. And when it was all said and done, they basically told me to, like, you know, you can play like a thug. You're just not going to be the underling thug. You're going to be
the lead.
You're going to be like the top dog. You're going to be the one who's street savvy, who's street smart, who's sly. That would be your guy. So I was like, you know what? I get that, you know, because I also understand that as people, we have our strengths, we have our weaknesses. There are just some things I can't do. There's some things you can't do, you know, and so
definitely
I'm gonna get a part for a certain reason. Like I'm pretty sure the part that I just did today, there were other black guys who did it, but I'm sure it had something to do with the look. But ultimately, how I spoke, which that's what she said on the set. She's like, "There's this one thing that you did in your audition. I want you to do that again." It's like, holy shit, you remember? Oops, sorry, can I? Okay. Yeah, holy
well,
shit. You remember my audition, but it was like something specific.
Yeah.
And, you know, she's like, well, we just wanted the wholesome American family, not to mention my wife was Hispanic.
Okay, cool.
And so, so when you think of it in terms like that, you can't put her with like a thug.
Right.
It's not going to be, you know, the American dream. It's a certain type of black person that does it, and thankfully I fit that. And so I think once you become aware of that and become resolved with the fact that some things are just going to be what they are, I think, you know, things are going to be a lot easier for you, and it'd be a lot easier to let things go and not get so caught up in, okay, why didn't I get that part, or why didn't I get that part? It's like literally you literally physically just don't fit it.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm here to break the wheel.
Hey, yo, you man, break that wheel.
Yeah.
I mean, so am I, man. I mean, gosh, so am I. I mean, I feel like, you know, let me ask you a question. What do you think, as far as coming out here? I almost feel like you have to. It has nothing to do with your talent or look. It all has to do with a resume. And I feel like when your resume is sufficient enough, that's when people will start taking a chance on you.
Yeah.
You know, like how do you feel about that as far as getting auditions and getting booked, but then that resume?
Like in terms of using my resume versus not? Or?
Using your resume to get booked, like how much of an influence do you think your resume has on you getting a part?
It definitely has, from a musical theater standpoint, definitely helps. You know, showing that you've done X, Y, or Z, you're capable of doing at that level. For instance, I've done, like, anyone who's watching this who follows me knows I've done a lot of productions of West Side Story, and every time I do one, it always helps me book the next job, because it's like, okay, well, he's done the show 3 times. You know, original choreography, you can learn it, relearn it in a week. Okay, that's going to be beneficial. But I think resumes help just because it paints the picture of who you are and what you're doing. Like, I couldn't get a meeting with my current Atlanta representation, the People Store, for a couple years, for like 3 years. And I don't know if any of them remember me trying to submit through my various connections with the People Store, but the feedback I got was great theater resume, great theater experience, no TV film. However, you know, they took a chance, and here we are now. But I think the resume is important because it helps you get in the door, and I think that people really want to know is, well, how do I even get my foot in the door? And I think it's just a matter of continuing to do what you're doing, which is reaching out to people, putting your stuff out there, getting a following for yourself. There's a lot of free real estate on the internet, you know what I mean? And I think having people go to bat for you, and I think the only way people go to bat for you is by you being consistent and putting in the effort. Even if you're not booking, like, I haven't like booked anything major in the last 2 months, but I've stayed busy with my own stuff, you know what I mean?
True.
Creating my own content and creating my own route.
I mean, not to mention auditions. I mean, because I thought it was just hype, to be honest. I thought people were just trying to blow my head up when they're like, no, man, it's good that you get auditions. And then once I saw the stats with people who submit, and then the people that they say we want these specific people to audition, I was like, holy crap, like that, I guess it is, you know, an honor to, or in a privilege to audition, you know, because they just cut a couple hundred people and they kept, you know, this 30. It's like perspective. Perspective.
At the we were at the Actors Connection opening panel, and Raven Drummer, who cast all of Tyler Perry's projects, was speaking. She's awesome. She was so cool to listen to. And she mentioned how, like, you'll have, like, let's say 500 people submit for this type of role, and they bring in 70, and then from that 70 they like 3. It's crazy, like, the numbers that go into it. And you're absolutely right, it is a privilege to audition. I've gotten to the point where I just get excited to audition because I want to showcase my talent. I want to showcase all the different things I can do.
See, I'm the opposite.
Really?
I'm just like...
You don't like auditioning?
No. Not that I don't like auditioning. Like, I love auditioning, but I don't get excited. It's like, audition? Okay. It's like an assembly line. Got an audition? Okay, push it out. Got an audition? Push it out. Got an audition? Push it out.
This leads to my next question. Your veteran experience. Do you think that military experience kind of shaped how you take on acting?
Oh, absolutely.
Because it seems that way for me, but I don't know if that's like accurate.
No. I mean, I'm predisposed to be that way. I mean, I'm a military kid anyway.
Right.
And so I always had that upbringing. My father was like, be focused, stay focused. And, you know, when you do join the military and everything is so structured, you can get out all you want, you know, but you're still going to have some structure in your life. And so when I audition, it's the same thing, you know, same thing. And I almost feel like it's a downfall, you know, because you almost forget that behind these auditions, there are people. When you go on set, there are people. They bleed, they cry, they shit, they pee, they do everything you do. It's really not that, you know, but with all my military training, it was like, okay, they say, okay, background, okay, make sure I have a background, you know, okay, they say they want a reader, make sure I have a reader. Everything is like down to the T. When we both know that it's not always like that. Like, yeah, have a background, have a reader, but, you know, some things aren't dire,
right?
You know, like, submit the tape, there you go. If they like you, you know, it's as simple as that.
It's that ethereal thing where you're like, why do work? You're like, you don't know why I work.
Yeah.
It just works sometimes.
Yeah,
you know
no,
what I mean?
absolutely.
Tricks of the trade. You want to like
tricks of the trade.
Things that like help you get.
Yeah, I got one, which I found out. Whenever you get an audition, get it in as soon as possible. Because let's say they asked for 30 people to audition, they'll take the first. Obviously, when those 30 people come in, there are going to be some auditions that aren't going to make the cut that they don't like. They already have in their mind, hey, I want 10 good ones or 12 good ones. The first 12 good ones that come in, they're done. So even, I mean, you might not even have it even audition. It could come in a couple days. It could be the best audition ever, but they won't look at it because they already have this 12. So get your audition in as soon as possible. That's a trick of the trade.
I sent something in like. There was like due Tuesday morning. I sent it in 10:30 this morning. It's Tuesday. I had to.
Yeah, you didn't get that.
I had to. Oh man. I'm gonna take that advice.
Bro, yeah, casting director told me that. I went to a meeting and they said that, and I was like, holy crap, I'm gonna keep that in mind when I do it. You know, I guess something else, which I think it kind of goes without saying, if they want you to audition, they want you to audition for a reason. So even if you can't see yourself in that character, because I've done it before, I'm like, why do they want me to audition for this?
Yeah.
What? Have they seen my picture? You know, have they seen me? Why? You know, like, do it.
Yeah.
Because they see something in you. And so, you know, knock yourself out. Get it done.
Dude, it's a good time.
Yeah, it is.
It's a good time. It's a good time to be alive.
Tricks of the trade, man.
Heck yeah. As actors, we are also artists.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of curious because I really enjoy like how you think about acting and how you approach the style of auditioning, just kind of your whole like outlook on it, because it's very different than, I think a lot of people that I've encountered in the business.
True.
And I appreciate that about you. And I'm curious, what does it mean to you when you think about being an artist? Like, what does that term invoke for you?
Just liberation.
Liberation? Oh, I like that you like knew it right away too.
Liberation.
You didn't like
man.
pause.
You know how many
Liberation.
people, yeah, dude. I mean, I think it boils down to perspective. You know how many people want liberation, whether it's, you know, the freedom to be artistic or, you know, whatever, financial freedom. I mean, if everybody wants some form of freedom, and, you know, we're fortunate enough to have it. You know, we can do this. Acting is not easy. It's not for the faint of heart. If you don't have like longevity or thick skin, it's not for you.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, man, I thought acting, I would find more people who were going to kind of, you know, try to get in my head a little bit. Oh, don't act, don't do this. But I found out that there are so many people who want to be in my position, not necessarily with acting, but being able to just have the freedom to live, to do what they want to do. And so when I think acting, that's what I think. I get to live. I'm liberated. I don't have to work. I don't have to answer anybody. I enjoy acting. I'm getting paid off this. Like, this is I feel like the luckiest guy in the world, like literally, not being cliche, because I know it sounds cliche, but it's not. I feel like the luckiest guy in the world when I get to wake up, because I know there are so many people who want to do what we do and they just can't. They're too scared, they have responsibilities, whatever the case may be. But Danny, we can do whatever we want, man.
Dude, I'm feeling so inspired right now, honestly.
I should have gave you this talk this morning so you could got that audition out.
You're right. I love that. That's a beautiful answer. Liberation. And I think everyone's searching for that. Not even just actors, just people right now are searching for that fulfillment, that liberation. Okay, outside of acting, outside of film, TV, what are some of your other passions? Like, what are some things that help define you just as you?
Man, that's a hard one, because I pretty much dropped everything to act. And again, as cliche as it sounds, my passion is like exploration of things that I have yet to tap into up until this point. You know, like I told you, I'm going to school for digital cinematography, which is kind of showing me everything behind the camera. You know, I never had a desire to do that. But now that I've done that, I mean, it's opened my eyes to acting. I see that from a different perspective. It's another medium for me to create, you know, my own stuff. I think I'm experimenting with just living. Yeah. You know?
Dude, that's a soundbite.
I mean, you live, but you don't live. And I said, I'm going to get out the Coast Guard. I'm going to get out this. I'm going to act. I'm going to live. And I feel like this last year, man, I've lived, and I've lived outside my comfort zone. It's been great. I feel like, not to be morbid, but you know, people pass away, family, your friends, and you're always reminded in those moments to appreciate life. And in my perspective is, what if you appreciated that, or what if you were in tune with that moment all throughout the day, all throughout the months, all throughout the year? Somebody didn't have to, you know, pass away, or nothing tragic actually had to happen for you to, you know, come in contact with that feeling, you know? You would think and see things completely different. Yeah. You know, and so that's what I try to do. I'm all about, you know, positive energy and putting, you know, good vibes out, taking good vibes in, enjoying the breeze on your face, like just the little things in life that a lot of people, you know, they tend to forget. I wouldn't even say ignore, they just forget. They get older and they forget to just stop and breathe, and stop and look at the trees, and stop and, you know, close your eyes and think, you know. I mean, I think that's what it is to me. My appreciation for life has grown. My appreciation for people has grown. My appreciation for self has grown. And so that's yeah. I don't know what else to even say about that. I mean, I can't even begin to verbally convey it. It's just, it feels incredible.
Dude, that's amazing.
Yeah, man.
I'm kind of searching for that right now. I'm kind of like in this in-between phase in my life where I'm not totally sure what the next step is, and up until a certain point in my life, I like kind of like followed a checklist and was somewhat successful in doing the checklist, so I kept following it. Then I got to this point where I came back to Atlanta, and you know, I'm here doing all the things I think I should be doing, but it's like, you know, it's tough to find that that excitement sometimes for me. Not, I mean, probably for other people too, but you know, just your words are beautiful, man. I really appreciate that. You're honestly like reminding me of why I'm doing what I'm doing right now.
Yeah,
there are times where you're just like, what is going on? Like,
I mean, but you know, acting's collaborative anyway. You know, I don't think acting is one of those occupations that you can do alone. Because I mean, I have rough days. I mean, we talked about it last week. You know, and the way you were feeling then was the way I felt the week before. And I just know who to go to. Who are gonna, hey, dude, it's a day. Pick yourself up. Tomorrow's gonna be different. And you know, tomorrow was different. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like, I don't know. You need people.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, we're social beings.
Yeah.
We're social beings. We need that energy, that bounce back.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
You're always busy though, man. I don't know how you even. Gosh, every time I turn around, you're doing something. Music. This.
Yeah. Well, the acting I know is amounting to something. The music I think is amounting to something. But doing like the YouTube videos, like the little like interviews, I think if anything, it was just fun for me to converse with my peers and my friends and people I respect, and get to, you know, get information. Like get to have moments where I just get to hear you talk about the beauty of being alive and being able to do what we want to do. I mean, that's in itself is like invaluable to me. You know? And invaluable, hopefully, to the people watching.
Me too, man.
Dude, which is why I'm so honored you came on and spoke today. And again, this is Aleq. Aleq, I think I'll put your Instagram handle down there.
Yeah, follow me, man. Follow me.
And
I will follow you back. I like to converse and chit chat with people and connect. So please follow me. Don't hesitate.
Yeah. And dude, thank you so much for
talking.
I mean, you already know. We already know.
We're
buddies. Like we're buddies off camera. I'm asking all like professional.
I know you're being professional. I was like, okay, let me tone it down a little bit.
Get real.
Let me not.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, I appreciate you too.
It's been another 5Q interview. Comment, subscribe, share. That's it.
Watch
Have
it
a great
again.
day.
Have a great day.
Peace.